What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to another episode of Seahawks Now, your home for all things daily Seattle Seahawks news, updates, content, rumors, everything Seahawks. We're talking ball. I want to start by talking about week one winners and week one losers, right? Which players on the Seahawks really stood out to me as a winner of week one, even though we lost? I think you can say that some players had good games. And then which players stood out to me as week one losers, right? Who really struggled? Right off the bat, as far as my winners go, Jackson Smith-Njigba, huge winner. He had a great game. He is continuing to prove that not only is he our best wide receiver, he is an elite wide receiver in this NFL. Obviously no touchdowns, but he goes 9 receptions for 124 yards, 13.8 yards per reception. That is really, really good. If you don't think Jackson Smith-Njigba is elite at this point, I think you're starting to fall behind. He's a clear top 15 receiver. I think by the time the season is over, he can be in the top 10. I think in fantasy, he already is in that top 10 discussion. Yeah, really good player, and I think he definitely kind of proved that, yeah, in this new post-DK, post-Tyler Lockett era, JSN is the guy. He is the guy. Another winner, I would say, on offense, Zach Charbonnet. He didn't have a whole lot of yards, only averaged 3.9 yards per carry, but in 12 carries, 47 yards and a touchdown. I think Zach Charbonnet kind of proved that he is the best running back on this team. A lot more hype for Zach Charbonnet going into next week. People, pretty much the general consensus now, on Twitter and on Seahawks fan forums, is that Charbonnet should be the starter. And that's not something that was previously, talked about. A lot of people there's a debate in the preseason, K9 versus Charbonnet, who should it be? I think now the question is pretty clear. K9 is not the best running back on this team anymore. And you can blame it on the injuries, blame it on whatever you want. Zach Charbonnet should be the featured back on this offense, and he's definitely a clear winner from week one. Another winner, you got to give it to Josh Jobe. Josh Jobe had a really nice game. 1 tackle, 1 interception. The interception was huge, and Josh Jobe's not a guy who was expected to be kind of an impact player, so that's why I say, yeah, he had a nice game. He ends up with just 1 other pass that was defended. 1 solo tackle, 1 assist as well. Yeah, he played really well. You got to give Josh Jobe some credit again because, yeah, he was not expected to be a major contributor. He's kind of a nickel cornerback, kind of a rotational piece, and he had a huge pick that, if the offense could have just done better on their part, his interception would have been really huge hopefully would have led to a win. Also want to shout out our other guy with an interception, Ernest Jones, the 4th. I don't know if he's a huge winner, but still, he had a good game as well. Cody White, shout out to Cody White, proving that, yeah, he should be the kick return man. A lot of people thought it would be Torrey Horton. A lot of people thought it should be Steven Sims, who we actually cut. But Cody White had a nice little game, 2 kick returns for 59 yards. It wasn't amazing, but it was good. I think he definitely can be a winner. All right, let's move on. Talking about the losers. Who were the losers in week one? Again, right off the bat, we just talked about Zach Charbonnet. The loser in this case is Kenneth Walker III. Just 20 yards on 10 carries for an average of 2 yards per carry. He also catches 3 passes for a grand total of 4 yards. It was just a bunch of checkdowns. He did nothing. I mean, Kenneth Walker did almost nothing. And, this is starting to become an issue for Kenneth Walker. Last year, injuries really set him back. But he didn't have the greatest of seasons last year. And then when you consider, this season, people were really hoping he can kind of come back and be that featured running back. I don't know if he can. Last year, 573 yards in 11 starts. The year before that, 905 yards in 15 starts. He has not been a 1,000-yard rusher since his rookie season in 2022. And unfortunately, it's something that we've seen more and more from Seattle Seahawks running backs is really, really early peaks. I hate to say, but it does kind of remind me of a guy like Thomas Rawls, who definitely you could say he peaked early. Yeah, it's tough because I don't want to say Kenneth Walker is cooked, he's washed, he peaked early. I don't know if he did peak that early, but so far his best season was his rookie season, and he hasn't followed it up. And even if you look at the game logs last year, he had only 1 game when he had over 100 rushing yards. That was week 1 when he had 103. After that, his next best game was 83 rushing yards in November, 80 in September. But you can actually see, I mean, it goes down 103, then 80, then 19 in a game that he missed a lot of time in because he got hurt. Then 32, 69, 12, 83. And then here's what it was the last 4 games he played of the season: 54, 41, 49, 31. So, yeah, he just didn't get a whole lot of rushing yards in the second half of last season. And now a really poor performance to start off the first game of 2025. Kenneth Walker, again, definitely would be a loser for this game. Another loser is Cooper Kupp. I mean, the veteran wideout signed to a 3-year, $45 million contract. After his first game, I'm questioning, why did we even sign this guy? He goes for 2 receptions for just 15 yards, did not score, didn't find the end zone, really didn't make any sort of impact with his team. So again, I'm questioning, was it worth it to sign Cooper Kupp? I don't know. Another loser, I mean, I don't know if I would want to call him a loser, but I wasn't sold on how DeMarcus Lawrence played. He ends up with 2 tackles, 4 assists, no sacks. I didn't think he made a huge difference. I'd like to see a little bit more out of the pass rush. I think the pass rush in general, you could say the pass rush was an issue. Trent Williams, he missed time. He left the game with an injury. Seattle only with 1 sack, courtesy of Julian Love. So, yeah, I definitely would like to see more sacks. Julian Love's not even a pass rusher. He's a safety. Again, Leonard Williams, I thought he looked pretty good. I thought Byron Murphy looked good. DeMarcus Lawrence didn't make a huge impact. Then you got guys like Boye Mafe, who only made with 1 sackle. Obviously, Uchenna Nwosu wasn't playing, but Derek Hall was playing. I mean, I don't know. I just felt like I expected more out of this pass rushing unit than just 1 sack coming from a safety in our opening game at home when Trent Williams didn't even play the whole game. Moving on, I want to talk about the pass catchers. Look, I said I'd talk about this yesterday, and I'm going to have to talk about it. The pass catchers need to do better. JSN, as much as I love him, he cannot be the only guy. I mean, I was watching the game, and I was joking with my friend, like, we literally have only 1 guy that has been reliable. And when Jackson Smith-Njigba, he caught that pass at the end of the game and put us into field goal range, and before the fumble, that is. And my comment was, the Niners have 1 job. They have 1 job. Just shut down JSN and you win the game. Because Kupp was not going to catch a game-winning touchdown. A.J. Barner wasn't going to. Torrey Horton sure wasn't. Elijah Arroyo wasn't going to. We only have 1 receiver that you can trust, and it's JSN, and that's not okay. So the Seahawks pass rushers need to be better. They need to be. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Sam Darnold, he can't do this all on his own. He needs guys to actually be open and catch the ball, and that was the big problem with Kupp. Cooper Kupp just wasn't getting open. I mean, it's not that he can't catch. I don't doubt that. I'm sure that Cooper Kupp can catch. He just wasn't getting open. Torrey Horton wasn't getting open either. He just wasn't doing anything. And your tight ends, neither of them really making an impact either. And that's a huge problem. Because Sam Darnold, again, he can't carry the team, and if the run game doesn't improve, which hopefully it will, but who knows, we're going to end up with a situation where, yeah, there's going to be some serious conversation to be had of how is it that we let go of DK Metcalf, we let go of Tyler Lockett, and this is what we ended up with. The idea of moving off of DK and Tyler was that we were going to improve our receiving core. The same idea with not keeping Marquez Valdes-Scantling around and eating the money on him was that we're going to improve. I sure would love to see some MVS right now. He had 400 yards last year. Cody White, is he going to get to 400 yards? Who's going to step it up? I just don't know. Somebody needs to step it up. Cooper Kupp needs to step it up for sure, but somebody else needs to step it up. Even if Cooper Kupp can get 500, 600, even 700, 800 yards this season, somebody else is also going to have to step it up, because this is getting to the point where you might need to even make a trade soon. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow more in depth of who that trade could be for. But I hear the Dolphins might be selling this season. Could you see Tyreek Hill in a Seahawks uniform? I could. I can envision it. So we're going to talk about that more tomorrow. That's just a little sidebar into what we're going to be talking about tomorrow is, yeah, the Seahawks might need to make a trade soon, and it was going to have to be for a wide receiver. With that being said, guys, comment down below, who do you think the biggest winner and loser was from week 1? As always, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Leave a like, hit the bell for notifications, and until next time, as always, go Seahawks.